What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Business Breakthrough. Got John Riggin here, Jay Riggin Painting. Hey, my friend, you've been in business for 24 years. Let me
Yes,
ask, is this the year?
this is the year.
I love it,
Yeah.
brother. So, so,
the-
so tell me the story, man. Let me hear it.
So from the beginning, or when I just realized this was the year to make some changes.
I mean, we can go all the way back to birth, or we could go. I
Yeah.
mean, you tell me.
So basically, I've been in business for 24 years. I've always worked in my business, and I listen to a lot of your you know content and stuff. And when you were saying about getting lucky, I've gotten lucky. With my dad worked with me. He was retired. He worked me for 18 years. He's now 80. Um,
Wow.
I've had a nephew, a friend. Then I hired a couple of young guys that were good and went on to college and became accountants and things. So I've been lucky up until recently, and I found myself working alone and just hiring people that were not painters. And
Okay.
the hire fast, fire slow thing was me.
Opposite. Oh
Just
yeah, yeah. You were the hire fast, fire slow. Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
just because that I was desperate, needed help. And
Right.
so basically right before Christmas, I had some stuff happen where guy maybe wasn't a painter. He was just helping me out, and he didn't do a job like I like, and I just was like cutting in behind a toilet, bend down behind a toilet,
Yeah.
cutting in, and had been missed. And
Sure.
I had like a realization, like I kind of wrote like a mission statement that I wanted to make some
Sure.
changes. And really the thing that put me over through was the lift off. That thing, I mean, I just, sure, with
Yeah.
everybody, just thank you for putting it together. That thing like changed everything. I have like 5 pages
Okay.
of notes. I took off of work. Um, I canceled everything for 2 days. I sat and watched every minute of it, man, really.
Love
So
that.
that was really, I know I'm going to look back on
Awesome.
that as being a life changing thing. I mean, it for it being free and all was awesome. Right.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
basically at this point, I am like 24 years. I haven't grown, and I'm almost embarrassed. Like when I watch the other guys, people saying, they're trying to get to 1 million or 500,000. And I really, I got comfortable with just going and killing myself all day, then doing estimates at night and always doing the work myself with a helper,
Yeah.
so,
Sure.
um,
Sure.
and I just not doing things that seem to be no brainers. Like I already applied a couple things. Like my wife helps me out in the business, and
Okay.
we took a script from the Liftoff. Somebody
Okay.
had put a script on there, just emailing my customers, and
Yeah.
my already customers I've had, and I got 3 estimates from it. Just from
Amazing.
reminding them, and that was
Hey,
like,
we're
why
we're
didn't you do
alive.
that for 24 years? So yeah,
Okay.
that's where I'm at. Is I just looking for help to start. What to
Sure.
start is, even as far as hiring, marketing. I want to put the brush down. I mean, that's it. That's what I want to grow my business.
Yeah.
I know you're going to ask that question, like the reason. So I wrote down my answer, and
You're
it's
right. You knew it.
basically, yeah, basically I want to put the brush down, grow my business. I want to have more time for honestly, for my health and my family, even volunteering. Me and my wife do some volunteer work, and a lot of times I have to miss it just because I have to work on Saturday,
Sure. Right.
and last thing that's still important is financially. I'm just scraping by, really. And my wife doesn't work. She's a stay-at-home mom, and I make enough to support us, but I want to make more money and have more time and freedom. You know what I mean? A typical day for me, I'd like to see is that, the thing, how you say, maybe checking in with the guys, doing estimates, doing things for my business,
Yeah.
checking back in with the guys and customers. That's what I want to do.
All right. All right, man. Well, I mean, I'll tell you, this is exciting, man. This is day one. Um,
Yeah.
Imagine starting a business without 24 years worth of knowledge. You know what I'm saying? How
Yeah.
about that?
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
okay. So you're already ahead of the game because you're starting your business today. How about that? And I
Yep.
think, man, one of the things that I like, a great saying, something that we all could, benefit from in any endeavor, man, is like the best time to plant a tree was 24 years ago for you. But
Right.
the second best time, if there was going to be a second best time, is right now. I mean, at the
Right.
end of the day, spinning circles and just, feeling sorry and just kind of depressed about it and going to do nothing. So Liftoff gave you Liftoff. So,
Yeah.
there's so many. So here's the thing. If you go into a hoarder's house, you might walk into that thing and you might say, dude, I don't even know where to start, right? Because that is kind of what's going on here. Like you've been doing it for 24 years. It's like, which direction do I go in? Is it hiring? Is it sales? Is it marketing? And, maybe you're coming to the realization of like, hey man, there's some areas that I haven't even like wanted to think about because I just know that I'm behind in that area and it's hard to touch. And then you have the pressure of customers that you have right now, man, and doing jobs by yourself and being a dad and a husband. And I mean, this is heavy, right? So I get
Yep.
all this stuff, man. And I'll tell you that we need to come up with a plan. The first thing is everything comes down to mindset. The difference between you and the people that we're talking about, those big numbers, is a shift in mindset. And it starts with your identity. Because when you're a business owner, you adopt the identity of a business owner. But the thing about it is in this industry specifically, there's not many other industries really like this, service-based industries. But really, when it comes to like this mindset of, hey, I am the business, we need to get rid of that. You need to think of yourself as an investor of J. Riggin Painting. I
Right.
mean, and that needs to be the new identity shift for you. You are not the owner. You are not the founder of 24 years. You are an investor, and you're coming into J. Riggin Painting, and your job is to inject dollars in order to create more dollars. And that's exactly what I would do. If you called me and said, Tanner, invest in my company, the very first move I would make is to inject money into marketing. You have to get
Right.
comfortable with this. You have survived for 24 years. You have the greatest skill, which is survival, but we're not in wartime. Right? Wartime is when there's a recession. And guess what? I'm calling you, buddy, because you figured out how to survive without any form of marketing. But right
Right.
now, we are in high time. We are in the time of Babylon, right? We're in the time where you can put out money and people call you. Okay.
Right.
So why haven't you marketed for 24 years? Is it because cash flow has always been short? You're robbing Peter to pay Paul? Is it because you didn't know where to put the marketing dollars? Or was it just simply because you just felt like what you were getting was enough for what you needed?
Right. So I really think I did some investing. I mean, not investing. I'm sorry. I did some marketing where my wife recently, over the past 3 years, we've done a lot of Facebook, just putting ads out there and putting it, in certain
Okay.
areas.
Stop
And I've
there.
done,
Stop there,
um,
John, because I want
okay.
to hit on that. I want to know what you did. Okay. Because it's very important because
Okay.
what did she do? Did she just post on the page? Did she boost the post? What was it? What did that look like?
So she would make a post with some pictures saying about our business, some pictures I took on the job. And then she would
Okay.
do it in certain groups in our area, like
Okay.
just the little groups around. And that would generate some work.
A couple
I may
leads.
have boosted a couple times
Okay.
over the
Got
year,
it.
but not mostly just reposting it on local groups. Um,
Yeah.
that's pretty much it. And I used to do advertising in the newspaper, which that's kind of done now. But that I used to do
Hey,
that in
there's still
local
people that read it,
papers. Yeah,
right?
a couple people. Yeah. Um,
Okay.
but that was pretty much it. And then it was word of mouth. And I think I got into the thing where people around me in different businesses, construction and things were like almost like saying, looking down on advertising, like I don't have to advertise, like I'm busy, I have
Yeah,
work,
they wear it
I'm
on their
word of mouth.
chest. I'm booked out for 10 years.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Well, those guys
So I got into
are
that.
tired.
Yeah, right. And I got into that, and I've had a lot of word of mouth after 24
Cool.
years, a lot of repeat customers.
Cool. Yeah.
And, it's, and I put through the winter, slowing down, a little bit in the
Yeah.
winter, and it picked back up. But yeah, I mean, I just I don't. The reason I'm sure I could have had the money to decide to do some
Yeah.
advertising.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I guess I just comfortable
Okay.
with. I
So
had, like you
let's
said,
break this
just
down,
enough.
John. I got you. Let's break this down. Here's the deal. Okay. All right. We really got to think here. Okay. First thing is that advertising is risky, and you haven't made a lot of big risks in your painting business. And businesses that thrive are taking risks weekly, sometimes
Right.
monthly, when it comes to their decision-making process. Generally speaking, the risk is usually correlated with money, right?
Right.
Moving money around and risking losing it, right? So from my perspective, what you're telling me is that you kind of did some organic posting on Facebook, but there's a difference between an aggressive form of marketing and a passive form of marketing. You may have heard me talk about this, but really
Yes.
an aggressive form of marketing is shoving it in someone's face, and social media lets us do that, as opposed to just kind of casually sharing it, where hopefully somebody who's looking for it or in that group sees it and takes an action. Well, an aggressive form of marketing is a little bit different. That's going to be an ad that says, "Hey, my name's John. I'm the founder of John Riggin Painting. I've been painting in your town for 24 years. We are now growing our company. We need clients. We want clients. We want to showcase to you that we are the right fit. We would love to offer you a free estimate," right? That sort of approach, and then with a call to action at the bottom of that takes them into a funnel, which puts their information in and then sends it to drip jobs, and they're followed up with, and that's the customer journey, right? And what we
Right.
want to do is crank people through that machine, John. You got to realize you're a lead generation service, okay? And the thing is right now what's happening is you're generating the lead at little to no cost, word of mouth, and you're essentially selling that lead to yourself because you're doing the work. So you're generating a lead for free, and then you're passing that lead on to yourself, and you're paying a lot of money for that lead because it's at the expense of your time. And your time is your
Right.
most valuable asset as a business owner, as opposed to you paying someone else for their time, which has we quantify that time in an hourly rate. So if you could just for a second shift the mindset of the investor is going to spend money on whatever he can to get leads. And that is like a qualification of doing business, right? That's just this game that you decided to sign up for.
Right.
And on the flip side, you take that lead, and what you do is you increase the value of the lead by selling them a paint job. And then you take that paint job and sell it to someone else for cheaper than what you are selling it for. And that is essentially capitalism. And that is what you need to be doing on a daily basis. Because here's the deal, man. Until you develop the mindset of, I need to pour money into this machine on a consistent basis, an uncomfortable amount of money, it'll never work. It'll never work. And you need to know where to put it. You can't just dump money into it. So my question to you is, you said that there's about $7,000 worth of revenue right now. And that, to me, that's 2 or 3 jobs a month that you're able to generate and perform by yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of, that's the other part, like I said, that's almost embarrassing is I wasn't even sure of my revenue.
Okay.
And I've thought a lot
There's no
about this.
embarrassment. Don't say that word, man, because I think
Well,
embarrassment is you giving.
well, I think it, like I was talking to my wife about, and I just thought if it can help coming on here, and if it can help like other smaller guys, small time guys like me,
Sure.
like yeah, I
Oh,
like
and they're
so I
listening.
do yeah, so I do like I do some cash jobs, and I
Okay.
do and I'm sole proprietor. So that's the other thing.
Yeah.
That's one of my questions to ask you is, whenever we get to that, but yeah, I mean, I wasn't even sure of my monthly revenue, but yeah, I mean, it's somewhere in there, maybe a little more.
Okay.
And yeah,
Got it.
I myself and another guy, my jobs are usually, 5-day jobs, something like that, or
Yep.
more. And
Yep.
yeah, it's
Yep.
probably 3 or 4 jobs a month. That's right.
So God forbid, and here's the thing, and I think you know this, but God forbid something happens to you. You break your hand on a job site, you sprain your ankle.
Right.
Um, that well dries up pretty quick. So here's the deal. Good news is both hands work, both feet work. So here's the strategy that we need to implement. First, we need help. You need to first decide, are you going to do a subcontractor model, or do you want that employee culture? Do you want that employee model? Which one do you prefer?
I want employees. I want to hire guys that match my values. All of that.
Sure.
That's what I want.
Okay. Good, good. And I'm not cutting you off. I just want to get the most of your time.
Yeah,
What
sure.
are those values, John?
Well, I thought a lot about this too. You know, I mainly my thing was I want to do a good job. You know, a lot of we clean up good, talking to the customers. You know, just overall. I used to say just everyone work hard, you know, and then go home at the end of the day and be happy and everybody get along. But you know, a lot of things have changed. You know, so I guess I just want to do a good job. Have my job done like I would do if I wasn't there, you know.
Okay.
Um,
All right.
I mean,
So
I'd like
honesty,
to,
integrity.
yeah, the honesty, integrity. I'd like to have
Right.
guys that would be long term and like part like
Sure.
family. You
Long
know,
term. Got it.
I'm not a
Got it.
mean boss. I've never been like that. You know, I never was a threatening type of
You work
boss or
with
me.
me. You work with me, not for me.
Yeah,
Right.
right. Yeah. So yeah,
Good man.
that's part of my value. I'm a Christian, so I that's part of the
True.
values also. I mean, I just you know, I I don't smoke or drink or do drugs or anything, and so
Got it.
all of
So
that.
here's the deal. Here's the deal. This is it. You're looking for people that are like you, right?
Yes.
That's usually the case, right? You're a good guy. You want to be surrounded by good guys that have, generally speaking, a family that want to be a part of something, that want, growth. Now, here's the deal. I don't know, John, if I came to your town and I was looking for a job,
Right.
how would I find you? Because I'm a
Well,
good guy. I'm a Christian.
we put ads on Facebook also for hiring. That's how we try to
Okay.
hire people.
So do you want somebody that's chilling on Facebook and then just comes across your ad? Or do you want somebody that's seeking a job, that needs the job? And
So, yeah,
you see
somebody
the
that's
difference?
yeah, 100%.
Yes. We just want to, it's all about positioning. In the same way it's about positioning when it comes to finding leads, it's about positioning when it comes to finding people like you, John, because I know for a fact, based on what you're telling me, if you just moved into town, John, you wouldn't be hanging out on Facebook looking for a job. You'd be on Google, which you'd then get to Indeed, and you'd be looking at whatever job was most recently posted, because that makes you feel like you have the best chance of what?
Getting the
Getting
job.
hired.
Right.
Right. Okay. A fresh post, not something that's been there for 4 months. Right.
Right.
That's how you recruit the best talent. Okay. And here's the deal. At the end of the day, John, it doesn't just stop there. In the same way, when you give someone a quote, you're trying to build value. You just don't go into someone's house and say, okay, we're going to paint this for you and then leave. Right. When you do an estimate,
Right.
generally speaking, you pad painting with everything that you just said. I guarantee you, if I invited you over to my house, you'd be telling me, we clean up, we're courteous, I'll do a great job, I'm on time, I'm honorable, I have integrity. And you're stacking the deck. You're not just a painting company, right? Or
Right.
else you probably wouldn't be on this call. So my question to you is, aside from offering employment, John, what do you offer people who are of high standard when it comes to working for you? That's a question you need to be able to answer outside of just a place of employment.
Right. Well, I've never done it before, but that's why I want to offer health insurance and paid vacation and just
That'll come.
you
I'm
know
not talking finances. I'm not talking
okay.
finances. Let's start. I
So
don't
I
need you to.
maybe a kind of a family environment and they can
Okay.
grow and make more,
Yeah.
no finance. Okay. But room to grow,
Room to grow.
and just a good working environment, safe,
All right. Let me stop
happy,
you there. Here's the
positive.
deal. When we go to customers, we're not telling them really anything out of the normal, but the things that are normal aren't so normal when it comes to our business, right? Like showing up on time, right?
Right.
Like being honorable, keeping our word, being integral, being cordial. We're telling them things that if a bank told you that, you'd be like, what the hell are you talking about? That's your job, right? But we go into people's houses saying, I'm going to show up on time and I'm going to, I'll promise I'll finish the job. Like, we don't question other businesses when it comes to that. So here's the thing. You got to see it from the perspective of the trade that you're in. You don't need to be above and beyond with growth opportunity, with benefits. Like, dude, you just need to provide 40 hours worth of work. Okay.
Right.
And you need to make sure that the way they get paid is legitimate, and you're already in the top 5% of opportunities in your area, because there's not enough people that care about just those two things to their core. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
And that builds loyalty and trust.
Okay.
So the big reason why you probably haven't pursued help is because you weren't certain that you'd be able to supply 40 hours a week every single week.
100%. That was one of my questions to you, was like, when you do get slow, and if I had 3 guys working like in the winter, which I'm used to slowing down, how do I, or how does that work? So
the question here is, John, and I'm going to answer that. Do you think during the winter in your area within 50 miles, during the winter, people are still having work done?
Yes.
100%, right? There's the law of averages states that, generally speaking, if there's a population of 1 million within 50 miles, maybe 10% of those people are probably doing some sort of renovation. Maybe 2% of those people are probably doing some sort of painting or something that you do. Here's the thing. You just need a piece of the pie.
Right.
And you need to strategically position your business in a way that makes sure you get a piece of that pie during the winter months. And how can you do that? Offer incentives, offer interior only work, start doing cabinets a lot heavier than you may be doing now, right?
Right. Yeah, I'm on a cabinet job right now.
Okay, here's the deal. You do cabinets, which to me, just so you know, I want you to understand this. If you hired a marketing company to market cabinet refinishing, you would have more leads than you would know what to do with.
Right.
And that just requires you to take $3,000 and give it to somebody that knows what they're doing.
Right.
Right. So let's say, for example, you get everything in line and you have more work than you can handle. And you think to yourself, I can confidently look someone in the eye now and say, I'll give you 40 hours.
Right.
Okay. When they come into your company or they sit down in the interview and they say, Hey, John, how am I going to get paid, man? What is the answer to that question?
Right now, it's cash. Yeah.
Okay. So if you went into a new town knowing that you are an honorable individual and you have bills to pay and you probably have a car payment and you want to grow interpersonally, and they told you, hey man, I pay cash, you would second guess that. You might like the guy, but you'd be like, that's cool, but man, another short-term opportunity. And I can't afford that because I need to show pay stubs in order to get an apartment, in order to be able to maneuver. Right. So first thing is, after this call, is to get on with gusto and begin the process of legitimizing the onboarding process of an individual of high standard. Now, for me, I would never work for you just because of that reason. I can't. Right. And you want people that have that same standard, John. You want them to say, I'm sorry, I can't. You need to have that ready to go for me. And again, what did I tell you? The 2 most important things are to people in this business that already make you ahead of the curve is 40 hours worth of work and a legitimate payroll system. That's it.
Right.
Payroll system is going to cost you $36 a month. It requires you to just set it up.
Okay. Yep.
Who does the bookkeeping?
My wife does.
Okay, we're gonna release her of that liability. Okay.
Yes.
Because here's the deal. And listen, I love the fact that your wife helps you, because that's how I grew up watching my mom help my dad. And I have a heart for that. But there's certain things that we need to make sure we legitimize, because her lack of knowledge and the changes of how taxes work every year, right? I'm sure she's not an accountant. If she is, then I understand, but maybe she's not. You're losing money. because
Right.
these accountants, the ones that stay up to date with the tax code, that help you with deductions, that can give you, that can limit your exposure and give you a hedge against an audit, right? Their job as an accountant firm is to take the responsibility of an audit, John. So God
Right.
forbid anything happens, go talk to them. They did it.
Right.
That's the beauty of it, right? So we want to build our business in a way. Here's the deal, and I'm going to wrap this up and let you talk, but I just want to get this clear. You need to build J. Riggin Painting as if you plan to sell this thing in 10 years. Okay. That should be the focus. And if you were to buy a painting company, I just want to make this clear too. You would want two things. The first thing you would want is to make sure that the books are legitimate, because you can't sell anything without documentation of the journey of growth. And that's what solid bookkeeping and accounting services are. It's going to cost you $300 a month. That's a great investment for a future return. And it's also a deduction. The second thing you're going to want is to be able to walk into the business, and you're going to want to be able to make money without having to do anything.
Right.
Besides sign your name on the piece of paper, and it makes money. So for the next 10 years, that should be your focus, is to first position yourself in a way that you don't have to do anything, but just be alive to make money. And that means your business is now worth something. And you do that through the channels of hiring, building systems, and having a strong marketing presence in your local area.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds good.
It's a lot, man. It's a lot. What questions do you have, man? What other areas do you want to hit on?
Yeah, I'm sure we'll probably have to have another meeting because I have a lot of questions, but I just basically, like you said, go on that gusto, right? And that would be the first thing. Do you recommend to be LLC or incorporated? Because that's one of the
Great
things I
question.
want to do right
Great
away.
question. I'm going to give you an accountant referral, and I think it'd be good for you to talk to them,
Okay.
and ask them. You know, I think what I've heard is an S corp is the most favorable entity. But you know, you want to talk to someone that knows a lot more about accounting than me. I don't know. The beauty of my position is I'm a facilitator. If I find someone that's good at what they're good at, and I could just pay them to do it, I do it.
Okay.
So I have a referral for you. I'm going to give you a link. It's going to have every referral I could possibly give you for everything that you need and we talk about today.
Okay. Great. So the next step, I mean, is marketing the next step, or hiring? Should we focus on,
Yeah.
I know I actually did two interviews 3 days ago. I did two interviews and it didn't go well. They were from Facebook, and
Yeah.
I'm kind of desperate. I have a large job, high-end job coming
Good.
up.
Oh, I love it. I
And I'm
love desperation hiring. I love it because
yeah.
it's forcing you to do this. But yeah, I see what you're saying.
So I just have written from it, like, is there a script for what to say when you're doing an interview? I
Yeah.
mean, that's something I'm not good at interviewing. Over the years, I find myself like I'm selling myself to these guys. Like I'm talking about my business, how I'd be
I
if
do
I'm
the
at a
same
customer.
thing because,
Yeah,
but here's the deal, John. I do the same thing. I sell them on why they should buy into me. So that's a good thing. That's not a
yeah,
bad thing. I think the blind
okay,
spot that you have, right now, is the fact that you're not doing a good enough job of vetting the individuals that actually get to sit down with you to where that actually
right,
makes sense, because you know that they're such a good fit. Now you're selling them on why they should be interested, right? You're just
okay,
sitting down with people without going through those channels. And there is a set of channels. If you were to do, and just example aside here, if me and you were both, married, but if there was a dating app out there, the things that we would want to put on there should attract the exact type of individual that we want. Right. And
right,
that's how it should be with your hiring. And you already outlined a few things. You outlined, some beautiful things about integrity and honesty and growth opportunity and, turning the corner and wanting to be a legitimate brand and looking for team players that want to work for a boss that has, high standards and wants the best for them. You got to realize if you put that in an ad, it's going to do two things. The first thing it's going to do is it's going to repel individuals who do not value that, which is
right,
great.
yeah,
Okay. So if
Yeah.
we, if we put out a dating app that, we're looking for somebody that's a certain, characteristic, it's going to repel those that obviously aren't that characteristics. Now, the second thing it's going to do is it's going to attract those that do align with those characteristics, John. So we just got to
Right.
outline what we're looking for. And here's the deal. When you look for, you can't be too picky early on. You can't look for what I call a unicorn, which is somebody that's great at the actual painting and is a great individual, because there's a good chance they're probably happy where they're at. They're working somewhere. So we need to identify like what the roadmap is to get John out of production. And that might require starting someone off with adequate painting experience, but they're a great person. They want you to mentor them. They want to learn from you to eventually take on that lead role.
Okay. Yeah, that was one of my questions too, is how long do I stay like on the tools after I do get a couple guys? Like I've seen 6 months or a year, but that was one of my questions.
As long as you have a plan, John, staying on the tools isn't a bad thing. The problem is staying on the tools with nothing working in the background. That's a bad thing, right? And we need to get some things working in the background. We need to get a quality individual in who, eats, sleeps, and breathes Riggin painting, that wants to learn, that's bought in. And how do we do that? Well, we set up Gusto first, right? We make sure that we have the necessary infrastructure. Then we go on Indeed and we put out a powerful ad, right? That attracts these types of individuals, and then we put them through a process. And I have a course that I'm going to give to you for free. So you have a whole course going to walk you through my hiring process. Take it and run with it. And then,
thank you.
Yeah, man. And then the last part of that is you need a marketer, man. I'm telling you, if you do cabinets, mark my words, man, you will be flooded with leads to the point where you're just like, holy cow, because of how well cabinets do on Facebook.
Okay. So that was another question with the marketing. How do I find a marketing company?
Don't worry, I have referrals for everything that John. I have referrals for everything you need, brother.
Okay, great.
Don't worry about it.
Yes.
This is what I'm here to do. Is here to give you the resources you need.
Yeah. And
can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
And this is just an observation. Who answers the phone for the business?
So my wife does.
Okay. I called that number twice today. Okay.
Yeah, I do.
I called that number twice. And here's the deal. There's ways to hedge against being busy. It's okay if you don't answer the phone, but we have to find a way to still make sure our customers are being taken care of. The people, that's money calling. That's money calling, brother. That's the problem that we're having here. That could be your next $10,000 job. That missed call, you got to realize, before 10 years ago, and you've been in business a long time, John, 10 years ago, that customer would call you 4 or 5 times until you answered the phone. Nowadays, they have at their disposal 15 different choices that, unfortunately, in the speed of the way things get done now, do you see what I'm saying? So one of the things I want you to do, and one of the things I want you to do is I want you to transition the business phone number to a cloud-based phone number. And I'm going to give you another link. It's going to be for Open Phone. Okay. An Open Phone is a cloud-based phone system. Here's the beauty of this, and you're going to love this. First of all, it's no longer going to be your wife's cell phone number, because when we sell the business, which we're going to do in 10 years, you're going to call me and say, Tanner, I sold my business for $3 million in cash, and I negotiated a 10% royalty for 5 years, and they're going to cover all my living expenses. Okay. So here's the deal. We need to transition that, because your wife's going to have to give up her cell phone in 10 years when you sell it. Okay.
Right.
So I don't know if she'll be happy with that. So what we want to do is get a cloud-based phone number. And what we're going to do is we're going to set it up in there where when someone calls, it rings your phone and it rings your wife's phone at the same time. So if your wife's not available, you can answer it. If you're not available, she can answer it. Here's even the better thing. We can set up an automated text message in there that has a link to book an appointment. Now, are you a Drip Jobs user?
I'm getting on it right away. That's one of my next moves.
Nice. So I don't want there to be this big barrier. I'm going to give you 60 days of this app for free. Okay. So you can, I know that was the Liftoff promo. I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
But here's the cool part. So what happens is if we miss a phone call, Open Phone sends a text message within seconds with a link to book the appointment. So I get all the information, and when we're back in action, if we're back in the office, oh, we got an appointment booked. We missed the call, but they already booked the appointment, so we can just schedule it, right? So again,
Right.
like you can have a great marketer, but capitalize on every opportunity, man. Like you never know what's the next $10,000 job. So
Right.
just an area of observation, but I think once you get Open Phone, that'll be resolved. I know
Yeah.
that it's your wife's phone number now, but as of today, your new business phone number is going to be that phone number you get with Open Phone. Everyone that you have serviced previously and everyone that knows your wife's phone number is going to always have that phone number, but everyone new going forward is going to have the new Open Phone line.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds
And yes,
good.
you're going to have to change your branding. You're going to have to change your branding too.
Okay. So you're saying with the Open Phone, I put a new phone number, or that phone number is I still use that same phone number.
New phone number. 100%.
New phone number.
Because unless your wife wants to port over her phone number to Open Phone, she could, but then she's going to lose her phone number. So
I think
that's a long process.
Well, we'll see. I think that would be okay. I just got my van lettered not too long ago and shirts again.
You?
But yeah, but that's okay. If that's possible, whatever. I'll do whatever it takes. I mean, that's fine.
But here's the other cool part: is as you grow, you might get an office admin, and then you just add them as a user on that, and they can start answering phones for you, right? So if we think $1 million, $2 million company, you're going to start having to add these parts in. So doing these foundational things, accountant, Gusto, Open Phone, this is all laying the foundation, man. Like this is foundational things that need to happen.
Yeah. Okay. And I know I know you talked about dead ends. I had my neighbor's son across the street made my website about 10 years ago.
Okay.
He was a computer guy.
Okay.
It's definitely a dead end, so that's something I have to work on too.
I can get you a website for $500. It's a beautiful website. It'll do everything you need it to do. There's a $75 a month. It's like a hosting and maintenance fee, but it makes sure that the website is updated. It's fast. You have a representative there. But we made so many websites. They're beautiful. So again, in this link I send you, it's what I'm calling the ultimate resource, and it'll have everything you need, including website design on there.
Okay. I guess, I got a couple other questions about, about pay and estimating. I don't know if that, I learned a lot on Liftoff about that, estimating stuff. But that it seems like I was going for years with that too, kind of just guessing and charging so much for myself and so much for a guy that's with me, and then the materials. That's basically what I did over the years.
Yeah.
So I want to change my estimating and how I charge.
Okay.
I mean, that's a big thing too.
Well, I think the biggest adjustment that you're going to have to make, and this is just, naturally, is you have to remove yourself from the costs. Typically right now you're used to kind of doing the costs with just like, in other words, if you're selling a job for $2,000 and your costs are $1,000, you're thinking, oh, I'm making $1,000 if you're doing the job, right? Well, the difference now is that you need to see it like this. You say, okay, well, it's a $2,000 job. I'm going to pay one person to work. He's going to be $300. I'm going to work. I'm worth $20 an hour. So that's $160. So that's $460. And then I also need to pay for marketing, and I need to pay for overhead, and then what's left might be $100. That's my profit that I get to put in my pocket. So that, obviously that was a, kind of like a simple example, but the goal here is for you to really think about these numbers deeper than how much does it cost me to do the job? How much am I making? Because that's how it's going to be when you grow. It's like, hey, I got to pay the team. I got to pay all these overhead expenses, and then whatever's left is mine to keep. But eventually you're going to want to put yourself on a salary, John. So let's say you guys do, $500,000 this year. Okay. Right. You might put yourself on a $50,000 salary as the manager of the business. And then that helps you create kind of like a placeholder within the organization, so you can position someone else to take over that role.
Okay. All right. So, drip jobs helps a lot with the estimating. I know, right? So I mean, just as an example, like if I go do an estimate tonight or tomorrow, if I know how many hours,
What's up, Facebook? My name's Tanner with Premium Painting, and we are.
I seen some guys said like on Liftoff, just a basic thing was like charging, 50. If you're paying somebody $25 an hour, you charge $50 for them, $50 for yourself, then adding money to the materials. I mean, is that still kind of a good way to start?
It's a good way to start, and I think you don't need to get crazy with your estimating. I have a free pricing calculator you can use. I don't think you're ready for production rate estimating yet. I just think that you need a strategy other than the eyeball method. And I think you kind of get rid of that strategy when you start having employees with real numbers and real costs associated with keeping them busy. And then it's like, well, let me just factor that in. Let me factor the pain in, and let me kind of shoot for a 50% margin. And then I have this calculator that's on this link that you'll be able to use, and it'll let you put in the hours. It'll let you put in the costs.
Okay, great. And yeah, that was another thing, realizing it through you talking on Liftoff and other guys, like just not crunching the numbers, not even thinking about the numbers. I just don't understand. Like, well, I just woke up, like, I know I was a painter. I started painting with somebody else, a friend's brother. And then I started doing on the weekend. I know a lot of guys probably have the same story, but I didn't go to business school or anything like that. So to not even look at the numbers, I'm just waking up now. Really, like I can't believe I didn't job costing. Like I just started doing that after watching Liftoff, and just like, I mean, it's some simple stuff that I just can't believe I never did.
And at least you're taking a step forward to do it. Here's the thing, John, and I want to make this very clear, brother, is that you have 24 years of knowledge of the actual aspects of painting. So you're coming to the plate with a lot of experience on the production side that you need to transit. You need to bless your team members with that experience, right? I think you have an advantage over me when I first started, because I didn't even know how to paint. So I can sell. Anybody can sell anything, John. I mean, to be honest with you, it's not that hard. It's, again, what did I tell you? Showing up on time and talking about your values is already making you ahead of the curve. So I wouldn't downplay that. I would just say this, man. This is how it's going to happen. You have to get uncomfortable with spending at least $10,000 to get all this moving. And that might mean $3,000 to get marketing going with it. Somebody knows what they're doing. Okay. Then put it on a credit card, take out a home equity loan. It's instant ROI. It really is, because you're going to get a lot of leads, and then those leads turn into big dollars. Right. And then the second thing is being a student of how to really attract talent. Right. And then you really, again, think of what you would want. So we got two major things. You asked what happens first, marketing or hiring. Both of them. It's like they both have to happen first. You have to hire as if you're, ideally, obviously you said, hey, I have this big job. Now I have to hire. That's good right now, but we never, ever want to do that again. We want to have so much faith in our marketing and our sales that we know that hiring is obviously going to be a benefit, because it's going to collide with our workflow. So it's a lot here, man. But I think, again, let's get the foundations. We got to get Gusto. Let's get an accountant. Let's get Open Phone. Let's get those three things done. You get those three things out of the way, then you're going to put out an ad on Indeed, which you could still do. But my suggestion to you would be to go through Indeed, learn that platform, see what other companies are doing. Look up ads of other painting companies on Indeed in your area and see what they're saying and what they're offering, right? Identify the position that you're hiring. I would think you should put out a crew leader position, because that's going to attract painters that are working for somewhere else that don't have an opportunity to grow, and see your opportunity as an opportunity to lead. Right. And then from there, brother, at the end of the day, man, get that marketer, whatever you need to do, hire someone to get you leads. If you were investing in the stock market, you would not get a better return than what you would get by taking $3,000 and handing it to a marketer that can get you leads. There's no way, because it's such an easy thing to do, is convert cabinet leads to a sale if you can do a great job, which I'm sure you do.
Yeah, well, I'm fully committed. We already applied for the home equity loan. That was something right after Liftoff. I swear, I just I'm really serious about it, and I the only
Let's
one other
go.
question I had was just you know sales. I mean, I feel like I'm okay, but I like to sharpen up. Is there scripts for sales? I know you say a lot like closing on the when you're there. And I just wanted to know what that looked like whether it's bringing an iPad in, if you're using drip
Yeah.
jobs, and
Yeah.
you know.
Man, that's, there's a lot to it to obviously cover, but my framework is pretty simple. A lot of the sale for us happens before we knock on the door, if that
Right.
makes
Yeah.
sense, John. Right.
Yeah.
And I
100%.
think, and I'll be honest with you, right? Let me give you a great example. Do you ever go out to eat?
Yes.
You go out to eat, right? Okay. So
Yes.
when I go out to eat, I am like such an analytical freak, man, because like I'm so into psychology, and I used to work in a restaurant, and I'm like, so in order for the server to make the tip, right? And I'm not that critical, but like just in order for the server to get a good tip, the whole process has to be good, not just what they do, right? Doesn't that kind
Right.
of feed into it, right? Not just the salesperson that shows up to the house. The first of all, the restaurant, there has to be a parking space out there, right? And then once I walk in the door, generally speaking, I shouldn't have to sit in line for 10 minutes just to get my name into the queue to be sat down. And then once I,
Right.
get my name into the queue, I shouldn't have to wait 45 minutes to get a seat. And if I sit down, I shouldn't have to flag down a server or walk up to the desk and say, "Hey, is someone coming to the table?" And then I shouldn't have to, when the server comes over and greets us, I shouldn't have to wait 10 minutes to get a drink, right? So at the end of the day, man, like there's a process at play that if you're not focusing on, that's one of the cool things about drip jobs is every step of the way there's a checkpoint for the customer. That's the beauty of the sales pipeline. So from the initial inquiry, it's a great experience, right? Like I said, even if we miss a call, the customer gets a link. And then from there, they get a nice email, a nice confirmation, and then it's super professional. And then on the day after they book the appointment, they get a story about our company, about me, about our standard, about who we are, right?
Right.
And then, obviously we do a nice follow-up call to confirm. And it's Teresa in the office just confirming your appointment, right? And then by the time we show up in our wrap vehicle and we knock on the door on time, the customer, our scorecard is we're in the green already. So from that point, yes, in terms of closing and closability, sure, there's a I call it the 595 rule, and you kind of alluded to it, and you said, "Hey, I'm not going to be so analytical about these numbers anymore. I'm kind of going to more focus on the customer," and that's kind of what I teach. Is like your price is arbitrary, right? It's a made up number of a projected outcome, and even if you miss the objective, you're not going to reduce your price, and you're not going to increase your price. You're stuck with your price, so it's a guess. So the deal here is that you better have a good guess. So you might as well just guess, and with an educated guess, of course, but focus most of the time building a relationship and talking to them and letting them tell you their vision. And then from there, we talked about a lot of different ways that you can maneuver the sale. So you asked about an iPad, paper. If you were doing cabinets, let me ask you this question. Do you have a sample cabinet door?
I don't. No.
Okay. Do you see how valuable that would be for someone that doesn't really know the quality of the cabinet refinishing process, and maybe they're still kind of concerned of painting cabinets?
Right. Yeah, definitely.
So like, again, if I'm trying to go heavy on cabinets, I'm bringing in a cabinet door that was finished to the perfection so I can show them, and then I hand them a screwdriver and I say, "Go ahead and try to scratch it."
Right.
So sometimes sales is about showmanship, right? I mean, ultimately, don't you agree if you go to a hibachi restaurant, you're paying a lot more? Why? Because there's a show involved. So people, you need to create perceived value, but there's actual value in showing them and eliminating the questions. For me, if I'm not in the painting industry and I heard someone got their cabinets painted and I got a quote for $25,000 to replace all my cabinets, obviously what you're offering is good, but is it really a comparable service? Like, is this going to deliver me the result? And that's going to be my concern. And most people don't know until you're actually there painting. So that could prohibit people from moving forward. But if you bring in that cabinet door, it's like, okay, now I can trust you. I know that these cabinets are going to be durable. Now I just got to make sure you're the right fit for me. So half of the battle's done. I'm sure when you go into cabinet refinishing jobs, you get the question of, well, is it going to last? You ever hear that?
Right. Yep.
All the time. Oh yeah. Well, what's your warranty? And what do you say?
Right. I don't know. I guess 5 years. I might say 5.
No, you need to define that, right? Because that's one of the biggest concerns. So you say, yes, you get a 2-year warranty, and I'm going to give you documentation on what that entails.
Right.
Because that's so important.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense, man.
Yeah. Just think like your customer.
Yeah, I mean, this goes way back, but I used to bring samples of popcorn ceilings years ago when I first started.
On a piece of drywall?
Yeah, and that was kind of messy, but I had smooth texture.
Yeah.
There was glitter, and that was always a mess, but I had it back then. I was doing that, so the cabinets, that's a good idea. I definitely am going
to. Yeah, man, so there's a lot here. So here's the deal, John. You need 3 things before you leave here today. Number 1, you need a coach. Okay. You need somebody to hold you accountable. You need a community, man. Like, this is the beauty of living in 2024, brother, is that I'm communicating with you and we're hundreds of miles away. You need somebody to hold you accountable. You need somebody that cares about your business. It's good investment. You can never go wrong with that.
Right.
Second thing you need is a marketer. You need somebody to do these ads for you. And then the last thing you need is a great software. I mean, you can't scale without a great software. I have a great recommendation for you. It's called Drip Jobs. But at the end of the day, man, your leads are your money. Being able to send out a blast message, which you can do in Drip Jobs, you can do a lot of cool stuff in there. And I think those 3 things alone will set you up for success. You are not just a painter, brother. You've survived in business for 24 years. Do you know how many businesses have closed 24 years ago up until this point?
Right. I know. I've weathered it out.
You're top 10%, man. Start acting like it.
Okay.
John, it was a pleasure, man. I hope this was helpful for you.
It was great. I really appreciate it. It was awesome talking to you. And I just want to say thanks for all you do for the painting industry. I mean, it's something that the Liftoff and all that, and just watching your videos and stuff, Instagram and stuff. I mean, it's changing me already. So it's a big deal. You know what I mean?
Brother. Amen, man. Thank you. May God bless your journey, and good luck with everything, man. I'll send you over some resources.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Have a good one.
Hey,